Hey everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Feel Good Friday, the 22nd of March. So I think it's spring. I think we're here. That makes me feel good. Brandon is of course it's spring. So Brandon is getting snow and cold weather for the next week. Okay. The reason the reason I'm laughing is because it's just I'm having these absurd days. Like they're not absurd because they're weird or different difficult things are happening. They're absurd because I'm having to learn a whole new way of being. Like recognizing that when I speak, people listen, which isn't always the case, hasn't always been the case, but also absurd because things happen. Like things are happening, good things are happening that make me feel good. And I think one of the things we need to do is to make ourselves feel good. It's not a funny thing. It's not a slapstick humor thing. It's an absolute faith thing. And it's just, I know some of you don't believe. And I'm not here to preach at you. I'm not here to convert you. But I can't be anything that I'm something that I'm not, and I am a believer in Jesus Christ. I'm a believer in God, and I am an absolute believer that God does some really funky, wacky, unexpected things that some might call miracles, and others might just call divine coincidences or serendipity, or something people might just call, you know, I don't know what they call them. A couple of things happened a while back, long time ago. We had a thumb drive. You know those things you stick in the side of your computer and they have files and pictures and stuff? Well, Rob was looking for it. We lost it. No big deal. Like, well, it was a big deal at the time, but we forgot all about it. Never thought a thing about it. And on Monday night, after the consecration, when we came home, I walked into the bedroom to get, to change in my pajamas and take out my earrings and sort of go put my feet up. And on the floor, at the corner of the end of the bed, so if you're facing the bed on the right hand side, on the corner, on an angle, about 3 or 4 inches on the floor from the corner of the bed, there was something white, looks like a piece of paper. So I thought, oh, I'll pick that up. Well, I've got the energy because as soon as I sit down, no energy left. So I picked it up. It wasn't a piece of paper. It was a little thumb drive. So I took it out to Rob, and he and his sister were there, and they plugged in the computer. And on it were pictures and things that we had been looking for a long time ago, like a long time ago. Things that we had thought were gone forever. This thumb drive just showed up. I said, well, was it in your backpack? Maybe it had been in your backpack all this time. And Rob said, no, it wasn't in my backpack because the backpack I have now is a brand new backpack. The other one fell apart. And when I took everything out of it, that wasn't in it. I didn't put that in my new backpack. And I didn't unpack it. It didn't come from the house that when I came. It was not there on the floor when we left for the consecration, but it was there on the floor when we got home. Coincidence? Oddity? I don't know. Making you feel good? Absolutely. It's always nice to find something you thought you lost, especially something you thought was gone forever. And then yesterday, I was on my way home from a meeting with one of my archdeacons, who, by the way, I have incredible clergy. I am part of why I feel good is because I am surrounded by competent, amazing clergy people and lay people who make church look easy, even when it's not, even when it's hard. So we're driving home, and the phone rings, and it was Rob. So I put him. I answered the phone on the the hands free, and I said, "You're on speaker." Hoping, because I never tell him that because he always knows because I'm in the car, hoping that he'd get the point that there's somebody else listening. And he told me, he sounded really upset. I asked him what was wrong. He said, Dude's collar is missing. So when Dude died, we each took a collar. Rob had the collar he was wearing when he died, the one he'd been using for the last couple of years. And I took the very first collar so the first collar was like this big because he was a puppy. The other collar was about this big because he was a big dog. And we both hung them from around our rear view mirrors, not hanging them from them so they could fall off, but actually looping them over so they hung behind the rear view mirror. And Rob he was on holidays, so he thought he'd go to Edmonton today, go to the West Edmonton Mall another time before he moves to Brandon. So the last time it's like It used to be like the biggest mall in North America. I don't think it is anymore, but it's massive. I don't really like it because it's massive and I don't like shopping, but he loves it. So he was at the mall, bought some Lego, used points, so it only charged him, cost him like $12. Like, isn't that a feel good Friday thing? You get like 8 kits and it costs you $12. Like, it's amazing. Well, for him anyway. He got in the car, going to go in the truck. Collar was gone. Pretty sure he locked the truck. He checked to make sure that else was missing. Nothing else was stolen. The collar was gone. And it's not like he kind of hangs it up there like he hang a hat, where he could have knocked it off by accident. You physically have to reach up and wrap it around both ends of the rear view mirror for it to hang there. And for those of you, I don't know if you realize this or not, but Rob's been diagnosed with um, psoriatic arthritis, and his wrists have been really bad lately. That's why we've got the smaller truck, so it'd be easier for him to get in and out of. He has trouble. He's having trouble with his wrists. There's no way he would have reached up and done the work, the meticulous, like the movement work of removing the collar. And you can't knock it off. Like, I'm a klutz, and the number of times I have tried to reach over to give him his sunglasses or to get a Kleenex or something, and I couldn't knock it off if I tried. You can't just knock it. It has to be removed, like physically removed. Two hands or one hand doing two separate motions to take this collar off the rear view mirror. And he couldn't find it. He couldn't find it. He was really kind of concerned. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to pray about it, and it's okay. You can have mine for the truck if you want. There are other toys, other things of dudes, and I know how much it would be breaking his heart to lose that, because it was breaking my heart thinking it was gone. We're driving along, and this is one of the awesome feel-good things, is we're driving along, and my archdeacon says to me, in the middle of something else, we're talking about something completely different, about half an hour later, and he said, you know what? Maybe he'll find it on the floor of the car or something. Maybe he took it off and put it down, and he just doesn't remember. And I'm 100% sure that Rob would not have taken it down. He wouldn't have. It's almost like a shrine. It's there. He doesn't touch it. Leaves it there. I got back to the office, working away here. Thought I'll give him a call, see how he's doing. He's on his way home. I said, how are you doing? He said, I'm okay. I said, I'm really sorry about the collar. He said, I found it. He said, it was underneath the passenger seat on the other side of the truck. There is no possible way that collar could have fallen and ended up underneath the passenger seat. I think it's like the stick. I think for whatever reason, whatever happened to it, God put it back. Now, I know that people think I'm nuts because I believe in God in the first place. Well, I'm going to take it up a notch and say I believe in miracles. I believe that the one who created atoms and molecules and matter, the one that created, that water, you could, push through water, and you can't push through a solid thing. I believe that God, the divine being who created these things, can do other things that are unexplainable. That stick that was on the floor by the bed came from somewhere, but it did not come from anywhere in our house. And it ended up in our house while we were away. And nobody broke into our house. Nobody stole something from us when we lived in Ontario and then drove to Brandon and found a random house and broke in and dropped it on the floor. I believe God provided us that stick right then when we needed it. Right then when we were thinking about family and thinking about all of the things that had just happened at the cathedral and all the things that would happen, the people who weren't able to be with us because they're no longer with us. And then there was that stick that had pictures of people who are no longer with us. And then the collar. For whatever reason, it disappeared and then it came back. I don't know how that happened. Maybe somebody was breaking into the truck and saw somebody coming and they had grabbed it. Why they would grab that, I don't know. And tossed it under the seat and then somehow relocked the truck after they were done. If that's the case, it's still a miracle. But all I know is that I have been living in miracles for the last couple of months. And it feels good. And I pray that this weekend, this day and this weekend, you will find miracles as well. Big ones, small ones, minuscule ones, things that make you scratch your head, things that make you think, oh, maybe there is a God. I don't know, but I pray that you will recognize miracles in your life the way I have been recognizing miracles in mine, because I can't think of anything better to make a feel good Friday than to recognize the hand of God in my life. Have a great day. Have a blessed weekend. I will see you again on Sunday for Church at Home with Rachel, and I will be we'll be doing something. I'm not sure what it will look like because Sunday is the Passion Sunday with the Liturgy of the Palms, so it gets a little wonky. It's a really long service. I'm not going to do the whole thing. But what I will do is I will talk about or do something around that and what we're doing. So it won't look like a normal church at home. We won't do a morning prayer. Maybe I'll just chat a little bit about what we are doing. And for those of you who would like to watch the consecration, if you go to the Facebook page for the Diocese of Brandon, the THE Diocese, capital DIOCESE of Brandon, capital BRANDON, their Facebook page, or go to my Facebook page, and you can look up the consecration. I posted it on my Facebook page, um, and you can watch the consecration. The only thing is the thank yous at the end aren't there, but that's okay. That's not a problem. But you'll be able to hear all the music and the readings and the Cree gospel and the reading of the Lord's Prayer in English and in Cree and the actual consecration and the works. So check it out. It's about an hour and a half long, an hour and 20 minutes long. You can speed through the things you're not interested in, but there's a good sermon by Stephen London, the Bishop of Edmonton, my former boss. Have a great weekend. Again, I'll see you on Sunday for Church at Home, or for Gospel on the Go on both channels, and on Monday for Church at Home with Rachel for Holy Week, Monday of Holy Week. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.